Yes, we are back again. It's Friday night. It is the international bus as it is now. It's time to get that Friday feeling, folks. So, yes, once again, I'm joined as some international colleagues. I'm joined by Pam. I'm joined by Liam. Pam, how are you doing tonight?
All good, Phil. Buzzing that the international break's finally coming to a close. That's why I'm smiling so much, because I
Oh,
hate it.
yeah, it felt longer than usual, that one. I don't know why. Same length of time as the last one. And unfortunately, there's one more international break to go before the end of the year. Boo. But yes, we'll need to pursue that. But that's still 5 weeks away. Don't need to worry about it till then. But yeah, we're through that one there. And yes, Celtic are back tomorrow. Liam, the wise man of the bus, the Canada's favourite Tim, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Doing good. Had my international break. Caught up with Scotland, which is dire. Watched Canada, which is playing amazing still. And then I watched Bulgaria get humped 5-0 off of Northern Ireland. So I can't wait to watch Celtic again. I need to watch a good team. Canada's playing well, but come on, Celtic. Looking forward to this weekend so much.
Yeah, it's been counting down eagerly since the last one. It has felt so long ago. Last game was at Ross County. Yeah, so it's been a long time coming. And what a game it is going to be this weekend. It is a blockbuster of a match. It is a slobber knocker, as me and Russell like to say around here. 2014 called and said they would like their title race back because obviously Celtic and Aberdeen, the top two teams in the country, both neck and neck, same number of wins, no losses, no draws. So it's going to be quite a contest. We'll be talking about that in a little while. But before we do that, folks, of course, here on the Friday Feeling, you can do all that good stuff. You can help us out. Algorithm, CSC, hit that like button, or else Pam will come and get you. She'll kick you off the bus. She will. She'll do it.
I won't be tackling you off. I won't kick you off. I won't be tackling you off.
Don't tempt her. Don't tempt her. So hit that like button, and that helps us out. It gets the Bhoycie Bus, in more people's recommended inboxes on YouTube and whatnot. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. Help us to get closer to the 5,000. Right, we're on 4,800 something last time I checked, so we're not too far away. Maybe get there by the end of the year. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. Get involved in our comment section, as many people are already doing. Smell the glove has actually just said like button smashed. Pam,
good man.
There you go.
You're off my list.
Graham Williamson's in, Jim Dolan, Patrick McLaughlin, Graham Tyrrell, Joe Hendry. We've got Jim C, Stephen Murdoch. Lots of the regulars are all in tonight. And of course, what else can you do? Yeah, you can share the link of the Bhoycie Bus far and wide, whatever social media platform ever tickles your fancy. As I always like to say, whatever social media platform hasn't burnt itself to the ground yet, because Twitter is just about hanging in there. And yeah, what else can you do? You hit with piesports.com and you can use the code BUS1888 and you'll get 12.5% off of your tasty pastry treats. And with all that said and done, let's get talking then. Celtic Aberdeen, it's just the top of the table clash. So they're on 2014 called and wanted its title race back. Aberdeen, is it going to be a flash in the pan? Are they the real deal? Is this going to be like Hearts in 2005? Because that's the last team that I can remember outside Celtic and Rangers having a start like that. And Hearts did go on to finish second that season. Can Aberdeen maintain it? Will they be the real deal? It's an intriguing one because usually, Pam, we are used to teams coming to Celtic Park and just parking the bus, 10 men behind the ball and whatnot. But I get the sneaky suspicion Aberdeen are going to settle for that tomorrow. I think they're going to come and look to try and show that they mean business. And that's a good thing because on one hand, we are the first to complain about these teams that don't come and try. And then a few weeks ago, you get a team like Falkirk who came to Celtic Park and decided, hell with it, we'll have a go. We'll just have a go at it. And they gave us a bit of a scare. And then it was quite refreshing to see. Of course, we don't want Celtic to be losing the game, but it is good to see a team come and have a go. I think Aberdeen will have a bit of a go tomorrow, Pam.
Yeah, I think so. I think this season's definitely different in the sense that it's more wide open. It's not just like the two-horse race that it tends to be between Celtic and Sevco. It's definitely more wide open. And to be honest, I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. I think Aberdeen will give us a good run for their money. I'm hoping it's not going to be as tight as the Cup semi-final last year. That would be lovely. But, I'm excited to see, everybody just really, giving it giving it their all. It sounds so basic, but it does make the match far more enjoyable. As when you give it your all, you're playing your tactics well and you're intercepting each other, and there's good balance between the teams as well. I don't really like to see games be so one-sided. So here's hoping.
Yeah, definitely. And see that cup semi-final last season, please avoid something like that. That would be really smashing Celtic. But I feel like, we've ironed out a few of the problems of last season because, at that point, the goals that we lost that day were just a shambles. But obviously, the way we've played so far this season domestically, we've not been leaking too many goals. So hopefully, Aberdeen do not test that resolve tomorrow. And here's the thing, Liam, as well. It's an unknown quantity. Aberdeen, fair play to them. They went and fought outside the box when, obviously, they sacked their manager last season. They decided we're not going to go for the usual, just the good old boys, the ones who just get recycled all the time. A wild Craig Levein appears and gets a job out of nowhere. That type of stuff that happens in Scottish football. They actually did think outside the box. I see last week Hearts tried to do similar, but that plan went down the Swanee because the manager that they'd outlined had knocked them back. But yeah, they've obviously taken inspiration from Aberdeen to go for something a bit different. And as it's an unknown quantity, I'll be honest, I haven't watched much of Aberdeen. I've just seen the results. So obviously they're doing really well. So I can't exactly say how they're playing and whatnot. But be interesting for Brendan Rodgers going up against Jimmy Tellin. I believe his second name's pronounced, not Felon. And it's a great unknown. There's a bit of intrigue there. Again, this boy, Jimmy Tellin, will want to prove a point. And it'll be, I think Brendan will be relishing the challenge, Liam.
I think so. I think he's coming up against his Ronnie Dyler in a sense with this new Aberdeen manager. You know what? I think it's just refreshing for Scottish football just to see somebody else coming in, see a new face. I mean, Aberdeen, they're terrible for recycling. Anybody that's played 20 games for Aberdeen's considered a potential management position. I'm hoping to see that we see something different for them as well, that they do come out, they do attack us. Bring it on. It's just so nice to have a different competitive challenge other than Rangers and having it been legitimate as well. See if they can hang on and they can last. I don't know. Everything seems to say they might, They're looking good. He's got their confidence up, but they've not played a big team yet, have they? We're a big team.
That's true. That is exactly the point, because they've won every game. Apparently, of all the major leagues in Europe, they are the only team that has won every single game they've played in every competition. But yeah, Pam, the argument can be made that they haven't played us yet. And to a degree, they also haven't played Rangers as well, as much as they are garbage, but they haven't played them. But yeah, this will be their first big test. But as I say, they will fancy their chances. They do have a few danger men there. Obviously, they brought in Kevin Nisbet on loan. He seems to be scoring goals for them. They have actually got a striker, Senegalese striker. I believe it's like Pape Guy or something like that. He's injured, though, up until January. So I was looking at the record of their players, and he's got like 5 goals this season, but he's injured. So that's a bit of a relief. But they have a Finnish striker, I believe, called... I believe it's pronounced Kesiknen or something like that, but with this boy Tellin having a knowledge of the sort of Nordic market, countries like Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark. He's obviously picked him out pretty well because he scored a few goals for them. So they're going to have a bit of a threat there. So we'll need to be careful. But of course, the news today, Pam, is that back in training is Cameron Carter-Vickers. Now, this is interesting because obviously Austin Trustee's had a bit of a rough time since he came in. Obviously, the Dortmund game was what it was. Everybody was rotten on the night, although Austin Trusty did get a bit of flack. He also got a bit of flack for the Falkirk game and whatnot. I'm conflicted on this one. Obviously, logic says Carter-Vickers should come back in because he is our best defender, but he has had a bit of a layoff, and we have made mistakes in the past, Pam, with bringing him back maybe a bit too quickly at times, and it can only aggravate his injury problems, which... It's sad to say he clearly has underlying issues with injuries, which we don't want to make it any worse. So I wouldn't be shocked if Austin Trusty kept his place and maybe Carter-Vickers might come on later in the game with Atalanta in mind. Or do you think Brendan will just put Carter-Vickers in there after about a month off and whatnot? How are you feeling about that one?
In terms of what Brendan's going to do, I really hope he gives him a little bit more time to rest. Like, as you're saying, maybe give him like the last half an hour of the game, maybe to get warmed up, maybe. But Unfortunately, I think Brendan really values CCV. So I do think he will not pressure him, but he will have him starting and then maybe sub off. That's what I think is going to happen. Personally, I hope that doesn't happen because there is a history of bringing him on too early. And that could be a key cause of his recurring injuries. If I was there, I'd probably just be very cautious and, keep letting him rest. He's only had, a month off?
Yeah.
For an intense, what was it, calf injury?
He played against Rangers and then was it Hearts after that? No, we had an international break after that, and I think he played one more game after that. But yeah, after the Rangers game, he was cited leaving the stadium with a protective boot on. But yeah, we don't want to rush him back too much. Well, David Kelly is coming in and saying that Trusty will be fine. We aren't spending $6 million on a player to sit on the bench. That's a fair point. I fancy it to take Scales' place over time. That's fair. I mean, Scales has been obviously playing like a man possessed recently, like a man who knows there's now some competition there, which we've always said is a good thing. But I'm similar to David Kelly, where I think if Trusty does play, I think he'll be fine. I think it's not too much a gamble. They say that, I think Mark made the point on our show recently about it's kind of on the way the club performed over the summer. The fact that this boy came in so late in the window and only made his debut in what was it, the third, fourth, fifth game of the season, whatever it was. We were about a month into the season anyway before he finally got his debut. So yeah, it's obviously not really his fault, but I think he's done okay. And I think with tomorrow, if he starts, I think he'll be all right. Say Carter Vickers, obviously there's a bit of a injury problem developing with him, which is obviously very inconvenient for us, Liam, because he's easily our best defender. But as is tradition on the Friday Feeling, Liam, we have to address the elephant in the room. We have to go to that man, but I believe your favourite player in the whole world will not be playing tomorrow. So it is a huge opportunity for Alex Vallier. And so far, again, much like Austin Trusty, who got a bit of a hard time for the few performances he's had, I don't think he's been that bad at all. I think Vallier has got something there in his game. The Falkirk game was what it was. So there was a few moments that I think he'll learn from. He realised that it's a bit rough and tumble here in Scotland. But it looks like his tailor's out for the time being. But thank God, first and foremost, Liam, that we actually have a left-back alternative, because there was a point there where we were wondering, what are the club doing here? Why have we only got Greg Taylor on our books? But yes, it will be Alex Vallier. He'll be starting tomorrow, I would take a guess. And what an opportunity for him. He's played obviously a few games, but now Aberdeen level on points with us, second in the table. Big opportunity for the lad.
Opportunities, man. This is what's going to break a player at Celtic. I know we've not got any value in him becoming a player, or who knows, we might have some agreement which is just not been communicated, effectively, as the club tend to do. I know it's a mystery, Greg Taylor first start. I don't even remember when he got injured. Something must have happened in the half that he was absolutely just crapping the place out when we played against Dortmund.
He went off, didn't he, at half time against Dortmund? He was out of half time.
Or anything like that. He didn't seem to go down on particularly hard tackle. I just thought his bottle crashed, But and he was taken off because he was shite. But and I've seen people online as well doing the thing. It's like, Greg Taylor walks back into this team. It's like maybe skip and hop, but he's not going to walk into the team. The boy Alex Vallier right now, or Vale, where we would call him, I like the way he's playing right now. I like what he brings to it. I mean, he's everything that we've asked for. Somebody that has at least got some sort of awareness that you're part of a four-man defensive unit. So I'm not seeing him going tearing into opposite corners, without looking back to see where the ball is, only to lift his head up when the ball is back in his position. And, by the time he gets back, flinging his arms up in the air. I mean, yeah, I don't miss any of that sort of stuff. So I like what Alex is bringing to the team. I like the fact he moves forward. I mean, even against Ross County, he had a couple of really good touches, towards the touchline and that, where the ball came to him and he beat a man and he got forward. I counted about maybe 6 to 8 crosses that he actually got in and across the box. The sort of thing that we used to like to see Ralston doing. A lot of stuff that we see when we get results when Anthony Johnson starts doing that stuff as well. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Valley. I mean, it's nice to see us sign a player, well, not sign a player, but loan a player, but get a player in our books so we can actually see him get to play and all that. Still looking at Rocky and all that, and I'm wondering, it makes me shake my head. It's like, how's this boy not been given a chance? That was the guy we spent $4.5 million on, and he just doesn't look like he's anywhere near getting a game. CCV thing as well. I don't know. I think we'll see if he's on the bench. I think there's a chance that he wants to sort of play him in the second half or something. I hope we can get up. If he's not on the bench, I don't know if we're saving him for Atalanta, but and then just see how Trusty can do. But as people were saying on the bus here, I think he's got enough to sort out Aberdeen. I think all the players we have in the park right now are good enough to play against Aberdeen, and yeah, I'm excited to see what this new left back can bring us. It has been an issue over the years, and we need somebody to take just even to get the manager to get an understanding of what is the role required. What will bring value in that role, and that's getting down there, getting crosses in, but able to defend and track back with a guy, get turned and pulled, and that all over the place, and do something a bit more creative than the 10-yard pass to Callum McGregor, backwards for the touchline.
Well, David Kelly said left back is a huge issue. As it stands, we don't have one for next season. Yeah, that's a fact. That's about 6 years we haven't sorted that issue out. Yeah, we haven't sorted it out since Kieran Tierney left. And of course, over the international break, rumours running wild. Who was Brendan Rodgers spotted talking to at an event? Kieran Tierney. So ring the rumour bell, everybody. We're now going to replace Kieran Tierney 6 years later with Kieran Tierney. That's what everyone seems to be thinking. They're putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5 when they saw that picture doing the rounds. Liam, just quickly as well, just to ask you, what's the Canada report? How did Alistair Johnson get on? Any knocks to report? Anything? Because the last time we had an international break, he went off with a precautionary injury. Did he come through it unscathed? And there going to be any issues at right back for us?
I only seen the end of the game against Panama, and he wasn't playing. He must have started. He might have started that game, but I think he must have come off as a precaution or something. I didn't see the part where he was playing, if he did play. So
that's fair. I was going to say the last time with the international break, he came back with a knock. So yeah, we can't be having that, unfortunately. So yeah, I would expect then your backline tomorrow. It's going to be Valier playing, and obviously I'm going to go for Trusty. He's going to play. Scales will be in, and of course Johnston. And in that international break, there am I right in saying that Liam Scales scored a goal, or am I getting international breaks all blending together all of a sudden? So it was
cracker goal.
That's how long ago that international break was. I'm like, was that a month ago? It was last week. Yeah, he did score. So yeah, fair play. Liam Scales, man possessed at the moment, but yeah, I would expect him to be back into the team tomorrow. And so he's doing everything right at the moment, so long may it continue. But midfield, of course, we'll move on to that, Pam, and obviously there's still question marks. The 2 weeks off there, a lot of the same questions coming up on Hatate. People started to question Engels. Bernardo, does he get the start? Does Luke McCown come in? Does Luke McCown get a start? Because nobody can disagree that every time Luke McCown's came on, he's looked lively, he's contributed. So we know that Callum McGregor's definitely going to play, obviously with being the club captain, but there is definitely a big glaring hole in the midfield right now that nobody has got that position nailed down, with Hatate, Bernardo, and obviously Luke McCown. And some people are questioning Engels. I think Engels is nailed on pretty much as long as he's here. I think he'll be starting with the price we paid for him. But that other jersey is definitely up for grabs. Now, right now, I personally would stick with Bernardo. And I'm not even, again, I know people are going to keep bringing up and I know somebody said earlier in the chat, I think it was Graham Tyrrell, said, don't mention the Dortmund game. Sorry, I'll say it quietly, Dortmund. But yes, everybody was terrible in that game, so I'm not judging it too much that Bernardo had a stinker as well that night. But I do think he is, I say in terms of our midfield right now, he is probably on form in comparison to what Hatate's been bringing. But again, we know how good Hatate can be. We've said it enough times. I am not for a second saying that Hatate is finished and he's rubbish all of a sudden. We just know how good he can be, and he's just not reaching that level right now. That's the only concern with it. But for me, I would still lean for Bernardo in the middle of the park. What about yourself, Pam? What about that? Who takes that jersey for you right now?
Oh, it's difficult with Hatate. During Andrew's second season, he was just absolutely electric. And I don't think he had an injury, I think, at the start of Brendan's first season. And in my opinion, he hasn't actually bounced back to the level that he was before that injury. Like, I'm not too sure what happened, but he hasn't been playing at that 100% capacity I saw him at Andrew's second season. It's like he's playing at 60 or 70%. But even then, you know, when he's hitting that 60, 70%, he works very well with Kyogo. The way they communicate to each other on the pitch, they're a dynamic duo. So part of me is happy to have him on. However, for me, domestically, Paolo Bernardo has become very reliable. I really enjoy him. I've said this before, he's not the same as Matt O'Reilly, but he brings something different that we can use and it gets the job done. So I'm along the lines of yourself. I like having Bernardo in. I do want to see more of Luke McCowan, though. What I've seen of him so far, I'm really happy with. He has, even though I think he's 26, he still has that excitement and energy of like a 21, 22-year-old just getting on the pitch playing for his first big team. So I think, you know, even though Hatate kind of hit and miss, we still have some good prospects.
Oh, definitely. And the thing is as well, I believe Aberdeen, obviously, they've still got that wee naff, as I like to call him, Graham Shinney, running about. He likes to kick people quite a lot. So he's always a bit of a nuisance in the middle of the park. And of course, in Brendan's previous spell, when we would come up against Aberdeen, we obviously had Scott Brown who would neutralise that, because there was always a wee battle between the two. There was always a storyline with Scott Brown whenever he played about who's going to be the guy in the midfield, whoever we're playing, that's going to try and neutralise him and have a bit of a battle. But right now, obviously, Scott Brown is long gone. Callum McGregor's captain these days. But yeah, who do you think? I mean, I think McGregor would deal with Shinney. I mean, he's not got the legs anymore, but he's still just that, as a naff. You know, he's an annoyance in the middle of the park. You know, runs about kicking people. I think realistically, we should be able to neutralise him. He shouldn't be causing us too many problems in the middle. But see, Luke McCowan, there is a compelling argument there. And so, as Pam says, he does play with enthusiasm. And he hasn't done anything wrong. Every time he's came on, he's contributed in some way. Obviously got that goal against Hearts as well. And he was involved, of course, in the brilliant team goal up at St Johnstone. So he's definitely doing everything right now to get a start. So I genuinely wouldn't be surprised, Liam, if Brendan threw in a curveball there and did start him. I don't think he will, but if he did, I wouldn't exactly be, one, annoyed about it, or two, surprised, because, but Brendan's got doesn't know much about Jimmy Tellin, so you know there's a bit of an intrigue from both managers here, first time up against each other. But for you, midfield wise, Liam, what are you thinking for tomorrow? Will it be Engels, McGregor, and Bernardo, or will Hatate come back in? Because people can't argue as well that it is one of those games where when we're at home, obviously we dominate majority of domestic games anyway, home or away. But when we are on the ball a lot, that's when Hatate is at his best. But how do you think Brendan will play it? Because there is a bit of a headache there. A good headache, mind you, but there's a bit of a headache there for him.
I think you got a very good shout there with Hatate, especially us playing at home. They've not came up against a really good football playing team yet, you know, and I think that's the one thing Hatate does do is offer that football. As far as McGregor goes, I think just Shinney will be in the back pocket. I think McGregor plays really well when he plays against dominant or like named Scottish players that try to get under his skin and all that. That seems to fortify him a little bit more. Where I think when Callum's playing with an edge, plays much better. It's almost like he needs that wee bit of anger, you know, just to sort of lift his game a little bit, know that he's in a battle. And I think he's really good when he's playing against other Scottish players. That he's very good at being that dominant, you know, guy. I'm the guy here, you know, I'm the Scotland, you know, centre half, or you know, formerly was for a reason, you know. And as far as Hatate goes, I could see Rodgers just sort of wanting to play that as man management. You know, whereas being at home, we'll come out and we'll show you how to do it. I mean, but you know, I don't disagree with any of the comments. Really, it's like I like that we've got this competition in midfield. Yeah, you know, but we're getting to see it. We're getting to see it because it's not as like solved as our back four. Even though the back four, we should have seen more changes in that. We should have seen more experimentation, because what we've rather done is just sort of persevere with Greg Taylor. We've persevered with scales at times, you know, and same way with Trusty and Lagerbielke and all that. I mean, we've not really had a chance to see different options there as much as we should.
Oh, and Greg Taylor's pulled the plug on him again.
We've lost Liam. No.
It happens too regularly. Greg Taylor just comes along and just goes,
Wait.
pulls the plug.
That was me. That wasn't. It definitely wasn't Tony Ralston, because I was ready to big him up. I don't think Park, but you know, it was funny of all the players that went and played away and all that. I think Ralston was the one that got the most game time and probably be the one that benefited most as well. I don't think we'll see him coming on the park to replace Johnson at all. But yeah, I think this is a chance for just to see how Rodgers, you know, is he going to manage? How he's going to manage this team? Is it figuring out your best team and just keep that going, or is it going to be some man management and horses or courses where you could see the likes of Bernardo and McCowan and you know, and that coming in and Hatate, you know, to exchange in the midfield, you know.
Definitely. One of the subjects, before we go on to looking at the forwards, one of the storylines, shall we say, that came out in the last couple of weeks regarding this game is regarding TV coverage or lack thereof. Now, the club were approached about would they put the game on the TV, because Premier Sports, now that they've got a television package that they now share with Sky Sports, they'd approached them about putting the game on and moving it to whatever designated time, which, given that Premier Sports have been showing games at like 5:30 on a Saturday night, it might have been that. It might have been a Sunday game. I know the Rangers played at 8 o'clock at Ibrox 2 weeks ago on a Sunday night, and no thank you for that one if they were going to move it there, but I do believe there were circumstances that caused that. But of course, Celtic did say no, and I think they were perfectly right to. Normally, you know, many fans are quite quick to criticise our board and the things that they do, but for this one, I was like, yeah, they're totally right in this one. One, we haven't had many 3 o'clock Saturday kickoffs. This is only our second one of the season, which is quite annoying. Usually a good Saturday 3 o'clock, but played more games on a Sunday, it seems. So they've kept that. So that's always a relief. And two, at the start of the season, nobody really could foresee that Aberdeen were going to have this run. So it's a little bit sort of patronising to Aberdeen, but it's like, oh, now we want to show you on TV, Aberdeen, now that you're having a good season. Because I believe that the games that are picked are usually picked a good month or 2 months in advance. You know, out from the game, you see on like Sky Sports News, if I'm watching that, it might come up saying, you know, December's live fixtures. They might start announcing them now, a good couple of months out. So to come 2 weeks or whatever before the game and go, can we show this on TV? I think Celtic were perfectly right. There's also a few stories were written that Celtic rejected this cash windfall when it was like 70,000 or something. And I'm like, if that's a cash windfall for Celtic, then I don't think we're worried that much, given how we've been shouting from the rooftops how rich we are. Because the reason why that came back into my head there was a comment here from Graham Williamson asked, Pam, do you get Celtic TV in New York? Because yes, the game is on Celtic TV for anyone outside of the UK, but yeah, so you'll be watching it on Celtic TV, so you will see it there. But for people,
well, I'm probably going to sleep through it, but I'll watch it afterwards on replay.
Yeah, but for people like myself, well, I'll obviously be a season ticket holder, but if you're not a season ticket holder, but if you've got one of those, shall we say, other means of watching the game, I'm sure people will find a way, if you know what I mean. But yes, it is on international on Celtic TV. If you're outside of the UK, you'll be watching it. But yeah, I think the club, Pam, were right to look back. They put fans first in that one. You know, fans need to make travel arrangements to come over. We have a lot come over from Ireland. And, you know, from all around the world, you know, fans come, and this was a big game, you know, it was building up. People have made plans in advance to then suddenly, within 2 weeks of the game, suddenly say, nope, we're going to change it to Sunday. We're going to make it a Saturday night game. Whatever Premier Sports would have decided to do with it, I think they were perfectly right, Pam, to do that.
100%. You know, I listen to some people, you know, back in Ireland who tell me about how they make the trip to Glasgow. Some of them do it like once a month, which to me is amazing, you know, great dedication. But, you know, even getting there for like an 11 or 12 a.m. kickoff, that takes the entire day, and it's a slog. So, you know, to have to stay overnight if you're watching a Saturday night game, also it's really expensive. So, you know what? I don't really say this a lot, but fair play board. Did the right thing.
Yeah. I know it's very, very rare that would happen.
First time for everything.
Yeah, we're not going too soft on them though, but we will give them their due on that one because it's too late in the day. But as I say, I think it's just a bit patronising as well from them to go, oh now we'll show it. 2 months ago they usually announced the games, but then suddenly they're like, oh now we'll show that because Aberdeen are on a good run. Nobody could really foresee this coming. And another quick story as well, Liam, before we get on to the rest of looking at the team. Today, Brendan Rodgers did his press conference and the word pyro came up. Celtic apparently got a wee slap on the wrists and a wee fine. I believe our noisy neighbours across the city also got a similar treatment from UEFA. We've been down this road before. UEFA keep coming back and giving us these things. How do you feel about the whole pyro thing? I mean, I see what it brings to the game. It does have a hell of an atmosphere. It can be fantastic on a European night. Obviously, you see that other teams from around the continent. What in Italy especially the culture over there with the ultras and the tifos and all that. It's absolutely incredible. My biggest issue though with this is UEFA once again do like to pick and choose at times who they punish and who they give a slap on the wrists and who they give a fine to. There's been plenty of teams who are in UEFA's sort of eyes have been an elite club, top end club that have done similar and don't seem to get slapped with this. But I see Brendan brought it up again today and just basically once again emphasised, stop doing it because it costs the club money, and it could obviously become worse, could end up with stand closures, which we have had off of UEFA before. We have been down that road as well. But I see that did come up again. But where do you stand, Liam, with the whole pyros and whatnot and costing the club money? How do you feel about it?
I mean, I don't know. As a viewer, when you see it on the stands, I like to see. I think it looks cool. It's, if you look at it just at that base level, it brings some atmosphere to the game. Now, I've never been stuck in the middle of it. I've been around it where people have done it for photo shoots and things like that, and it's a fucking horrible smell and that. You can't get off your clothes and stuff like that. So if you're subjected to, guys just lighting up the stand with pyro and all that, there is a safety concern. We've watched tragedies happen, like, the Hillsborough and, and Sheffield and that, or Bradford, I think was the other one, right?
Bradford, yeah.
Like where there has been tragedies, and that wasn't pyro, but I mean, it sure as hell doesn't look safe, and you see people flinging the flares that are still lit onto the park. Some of them don't make the park, land in the back of somebody's hood. I know, starting to sound like an old dad here, but I'm an old dad, and I've been to plenty of games where we've had great buzz and great, atmosphere and all that without having to bring pyro into it. We know we're on UEFA's watch list. If it's not going to be pyro, it's going to be the messages we have in our banners and our flags and the political statements we do. We have plenty of ways to stand up to Europe and still have an identity.
Mm-hmm. David Kelly coming in with something along those lines, says Atletico Madrid get done for racism and only got fined 50,000.
Wow.
That's the thing I was just ready to bring up, is the fact that you said you're right, Phil. They tend to pick and choose who they want to go after. So, there's a lot of Spanish clubs, Spain in particular, gets brought up with racist chanting and things like that, where it's become a problem in that. And that's it. They're very selective, but I think they'll be looking for us, and I don't know. I think I listened to Brendan in this one, and it's like, all right, reel it in,
Yeah. No, it's fair what that point there about the selective punishments is true. And I've always said the issue is because for years and years there's always been issues, particularly with the Eastern European clubs and nations with racism in particular. And there's always been talk of, well, just throw those teams out of the competition if it's that bad, and UEFA never do it. And my feeling on that is the reason they don't do it is because teams like Spain and Italy and England, there is ingrained racism with a lot of their clubs and their national fans. And if they have to throw out, say, a team like Serbia, then UEFA don't want to be throwing a team like Italy out of a competition because Italy are a box office name at these tournaments, and Spain are a box office name, and Spanish clubs and whatnot. So that's why I think they don't do it. I think it's just simply fines all the time. But yeah, you could do a whole podcast talking about that one. David Kelly's right though. I mean, to only get fined 50k and whatnot for that, and people set off pyros, you can get fined more for that and get stands closed and whatnot. Makes sense of it. Yes, well, anyway, we'll go back to talking about the game tomorrow because we're on to the forwards. And Pam, Nicholas Kuhn, he's unbelievable at the moment. As we talked about it the last time we were on, talking about our wingers right now, Nicholas Kuhn and Dyson Maeda, both of them have got a legitimate case to be the players of the year right now. And it's just so refreshing because last year our wingers were so unproductive at times. So it is good to see that they're just a threat from a goal threat constantly, them and whoever plays in the middle, whether it's Kyogo or Ida right now. It's just good to have a very fluid forward line, Pam.
100% Phil. I mean, this time last year, in terms of wingers, I was worried about Abada. And now look how different it is now. You know, Nicholas Kuhn, he had a rough few months, but I remember I was chatting with my dad and he says, give him some time, be patient, it will pay off with him. Oh my God, look at it now. Like, it's amazing. He's really got stuck in. He works well with both Kyogo and Ida. So he has that ability to, change his game up whenever you need, which is what you want in a player like that. And then, of course, with Dyson Maeda, he's my favourite. That probably will never change. I think he's fabulous. I've said this before and I'll say it again, having them two just feel like a security blanket on the wings, really. Like, because I can trust both of them. They're both great at their job. They both like to come back as well, so they can be a supporting position as well. To the backs as well, especially Dyson Maeda. He does come back and helps Greg Taylor out a lot. So, they're definitely not lazy in that extent. They can cover a lot of the pitch as well. Yeah. And I think they work well. I think Maeda works better with Kyogo than Ida, but I haven't seen enough of Maeda and Ida yet to make a good decision on that. But, overall, I'm feeling very secure about the wing situation. I think I would like a backup for Kuhn that isn't Forrest, because I think Forrest is coming to the end of his career. He's had a great career, but I think he's coming to the end of it soon. So, no. But if that's our winger lineup, Maeda and Kuhn, then I'm feeling very happy.
Oh, definitely. But with Forrest last season, I think this time last season we were wondering Forrest. Maybe we'll just save it again for the end of the season when we need him. In case of emergency, break glass. Get the hammer, smash it, get James Forrest out. If he can repeat those heroics again in the run into the season, but hopefully we're not in a position come the run in where we're needing that and we're quite comfortably ahead. I'm hoping it's one of those seasons because I know a lot of people say that they enjoy the sort of to and fro right up to the end of the season. I don't. I was enjoying those seasons there where we were home and dry by February. I was quite happy with those ones, so I would prefer if that happened again. I can't take too much of that. But hey, if we do find ourselves in that position, if James Forrest is there as a reliable option, then fingers crossed he does. But Liam, over the 2 weeks that we were away, Lewis Palmer scored a hat-trick in a friendly. Sources say, is there going to be a wild Lewis Palmer sighting anytime soon? Somehow I doubt it, Liam. But I did see people putting in a case for him, saying that maybe he's turned the corner. I don't think so. It was just a friendly against Sligo Rovers to get a bit of minutes in the legs, essentially, for the guys who obviously went away on international duty. Fair play to him that he put away the hat-trick. I know that his dad said that something about him, he does care and he does try and whatnot, and he's really determined to make it at Celtic. And apparently he's came off social media as well, which might be a good thing for the boy. But I don't somehow see any right now when it comes to the wingers, any curveballs, like a Lewis Palmer shaped curveball coming in anywhere. I think it's Maeda and Kuhn all the way, Liam.
I mean, that's it. I mean, if you'd asked, I was ready to say, we did have one player that scored a hat-trick during the break. Forgotten about. And by the way, it just wasn't so-called. It was actually on film. There is footage of it I managed to track down. And all the goals were pretty well the same. It was standing at the back 2-3 yards out for the post and just tap-ins. So the service was good and he was getting in the right places and doing the right running. Is he good enough to get rid of Dyson? Nah, right now we got something special happening with both Dyson and Kuhn on the other wing. I think there's a rapidness now to this team that a lot of defences can't handle. And so I think that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to see they two just go up. I seen a thing on Twitter about Kuhn. Somebody was talking about, they'd always figure this is a boy that could play for Germany one day, and the way he's going right now. If he can replicate that form now, like the first game in Europe, he did really well. The second game against Borussia. I don't think he played very well at all. So let's see him get that form back. Tomorrow's an ideal way to sort of get up and get that form going again and into that season that, who knows, maybe, just maybe, gets you a call up for the German national team. You know, I mean, we've got, big Angles. He's got a call up for the Belgium team.
Mm-hmm.
No, Paulo Bernardo as well could get a call up as well. So, you know, there's things for these guys to play for and really expand their game and all that. There's no settling, you know, just because you're in Scotland. There's more levels and more milestones that can be hit here, and I think tomorrow will show us a really good opportunity. Have we talked about the strikers yet, Phil? I don't know if
well, it's right now. I think I know who I would go for. Liam, I would be leaning for Kyogo right now, but both of them are on 4 goals each, and at times they've kind of went through peaks and troughs. The two of them, Ida and Kyogo, they're both two very different strikers. It's good to have that adaptability, but yeah, right now I'd say probably Kyogo gets the start. Obviously, we've spent a lot of money on Ida, so we want him to succeed at every opportunity. But I think right now, Liam, you're probably looking at Kyogo starting tomorrow.
I think so as well. What I've seen of, I don't think Ida got a game for the last Ireland game. He didn't get used. He was an unused sub, I think. Kyogo was still here with the team. He was up in the Highlands getting his picture taken up. He was up in one of the islands. There was a great story on Open Goal with Charlie McGrew talking about one of the Dundee players where, and I remember seeing it in the highlights as well, where he runs up and Kyogo's doing that to the guy after he scored a goal, and he was basically saying, "You can't catch me, you can't." And I got it, man. You know, I'm watching this game tomorrow on Celtic TV, and Peter Grant is like, there's a voice, just boring. Get Charlie McGrew on Celtic TV.
Yeah.
That line they threw away at the end, he says, after that, he was back down in the West End catching Pokemons. I like Big Chuck's patter. I think get on Celtic TV and, you know, give the fans some entertainment. None of this, like, basic Peter Grant stuff.
I like Charlie McGrew. He did the Scotland-Portugal game for the Scotland YouTube channel, and at one point he said when Tony Ralston get turned left, right and centre, he said someone's going to have to unscrew him from the ground.
I know. Is a supporter and get that sort of pattern. That's what we do. I think that's missing for the game. The Celtic should do well to recognise that and see if we can, you know, get Big Chuck on the Celtic TV.
He's definitely got the patter for it. He's definitely got some sort of future in, you know, doing media anyway. I enjoy listening to Charlie McGrew. But yes, we'll now do our predictions really quickly then of how we think it's going to go. So I think, despite all the bluster and all the brouhaha about Aberdeen going to do this and that and whatnot, and I'm probably setting myself up for a fall here and setting myself up to get clipped, but I think we'll win pretty comfortably. I don't think it will just be a win. I think we will prove a point. I think Celtic do their best work when they do have a point to prove. When the occasion is bigger, they seem to rise to the occasion. When it's games like Falkirk on a League Cup quarter-final on a Sunday afternoon at Celtic Park, the atmosphere and the mood is a bit lower, but I think with Aberdeen, with a bit of chip on their shoulder, coming down, trying to prove a point, I think Celtic will rise to the occasion and Brendan will drum it into them. You know, they want to be in a title fight. They want to fancy their chances. Show them what it's all about. And I think we will beat them. Clean sheet, and I'll say 3-0. A pretty comfortable 3-0. I say I'm probably setting myself up for a fall. And right now, as long as Celtic win, that's all I care about. But I'm going to say that we win, and we win pretty comfortably. Pam, how do you think it will go?
I think it'll be a test, but I think we'll pull through, to be honest. So I'm along the lines of a 2-0 win.
2-0, that'll do me.
I'm not as ambitious as Paul there. Somebody has to.
Yes, and Liam, wise man, give us some wise knowledge. How are we going to do tomorrow?
I'm going to chase that Philberto feeling, mate. I see a 3-0 as well. I think
good stuff.
This will be. We need this. We need to set some dominance here in Scotland, and I think that's a great way to do it. You know, I hope it doesn't demoralise them too much, that they can still pick it up and beat Rangers in the next week. But I don't. I think they're missing players as well too. And they're coming to Celtic Park. I don't think they've played in anything like this. And Rodgers is a big game management type player. So I think he'll have the team up and ready for this, and it'll be a really good indication. If we do really well in this, I think everybody will be going into that Atalanta game just feeling a little bit better than what we did with that Dortmund game. Although we were coming in off a high.
Yeah, we definitely were. People in the chat, majority all going for pretty convincing wins, although Stephen Murdoch's went for a 3-2. Everyone there. I don't know if I've won that. And one of the small scores, Pat O's came with a 1-0 scales, and all night Pat O has been putting in the chat, and he's quite good at this. This does go unnoticed sometimes, but he's very good with coming in with the gambling odds, and he's been saying 14-1 scales anytime. Of course, gamble responsibly, folks. Gamble responsibly. But Pat O has got quite a good record. He does come in with some stuff, and the next day he'll be back in saying, "Did anyone take my tip?" Because it usually comes in. So 14-1 scales anytime. It's worth a go. But speaking of gambling, want to play a game? Do you want to play a game of sudden death before we finish? I brought it back. I brought it back to last time. Liam, you've got to redeem yourself, mate. You've got to redeem yourself. I did spring it on you, to be fair, but and I'm springing it on you again. But I think we should finish with a game of sudden death, bringing it back. I will get all the aesthetics set up now, and we shall have another game of that. So, of course, as always, comments off for the two of you. No help from the comments. And for anyone that doesn't know what sudden death is, I will explain that just now. It is a penalty shootout style competition between Pam and Liam. It was a regular staple on the Monday Club between the brothers Bhoycie, Jonathan and Russell. We did it for a good, 2 seasons there. Jonathan won both seasons. I know Russell's in the chat, and he probably won't appreciate me reminding him of that one. But yes, Jono did win the season twice now. We played it for the first time in a couple of weeks ago, and Pam won the first edition of it. I did say as well, when Mick comes back onto the Friday feeling, because he's a bit busy just now, he needs to get his initiation and do a quiz as well, because he still hasn't done that yet. So I'll get him at some point. He's not escaping that easily. But yeah, I'd say it's penalty shootout style competition. They get 5 shots each. I've got a question, multiple answers. They take it in turns, and they get a correct answer. Obviously, they score a goal, and if they don't, then the goalkeeper, who is me, will obviously save it. And simply go through 5. If we have to go further than the 5, we'll go to a maximum of 10. And if we get that far, we'll do a tiebreaker question, but hopefully we don't get to that stage. Then say we will get started. So we do have a winner, because the last time we did it, we didn't have a winner. So Pam, you did obviously win the last one. So do you wish to go first or second?
Well, I went second last time. Even though that was beginner's luck, I think it's fair if I go first this time.
Okay. So in that case, Liam, if you're going second, you are entitled to a clue at some point if you so need it. Okay, so tonight's question has a very nice 18 answers. So it's not too bad, 18. And once again, it is a Celtic question. You'll be happy to know it is not a random football question, because sometimes I do like to mix up with a random football one, but it is a Celtic one. And the question is in relation to Aberdeen. You'll be happy to know, because topical. Celtic had an epic encounter with Aberdeen on the 16th of March 2013. The game ended 4-3 to Celtic. Celtic were 3-1 down in that game at one point and won the game 4-3. So I'm looking for the name of any player who was in the Celtic match day squad that day. 18 of them, 11 started, 7 were on the bench. And I will give both of you a hint just now to give you a timeline. Neil Lennon was the manager, so that gives you an idea of the era that we're talking here. So the 16th of March 2013, Celtic beat Aberdeen 4-3 at Celtic Park, being 3-1 down with 20 minutes to go. A hell of a game. Hopefully we don't get a scoreline like that tomorrow. Don't think I can handle it. But yeah, 18 answers, 18 players that day in the Celtic squad. And if you could just name any of them, you get a point. So Pam, you're up first.
Well, I was about 12 at the time, so I'm just trying to remember who did I like when I was 12. Oh, this is going to be a guess. This is going to be a really weird reason, but I really liked his hair at the time. So I'm hoping he played for Celtic then. Samaras.
Samaras, yes, he did, and he scored the winner. He scored a last-minute overhead kick to win the game when we were 3-1 down. We came back and won it 4-3, and he scored right at the death. A vintage Georgios Samaras moment, and it wasn't even a clean overhead kick. He scuffed it into the net. Liam, over to you. What's that, Liam?
Scott Brown.
Yeah, Scott Brown. Let's have a wee look. Scott Brown was injured for that game. He wasn't playing. I just had to double check. I was so convinced Scott Brown was right. I had to look down the list there and I was like, no, he was injured. He wasn't playing in that game. He was injured. The club captain was injured, Liam. Sorry, mate. Oh sorry, man. Pam?
I'm already kind of screwed, I'll be honest with you. I'm just trying to think who was playing at that time. Lenny.
So Lenny's first spell as manager.
Lenny's first spell.
Yeah.
This might be too late for him, but I'm just going to try. I think Chris Commons was playing at that time.
Chris Commons scored as well that day. He scored the opening goal. 12 seconds into the game, Chris Commons scored. Yep. So he gave us the lead. Okay, Liam. Come on. We need a point here.
Go, lad.
Joe Ledley is a correct answer. Yes, Joe Ledley was playing and he was in the matchday squad. So yes, back in it, Liam.
Aye.
Okay. Another one. I'm gonna go for Rogic.
Yes, he was on the bench that day. This was before he really made a mark at Celtic, but yes, he was on the bench that day. So yeah, Tom Rogic is correct. So Liam, you need this, mate. You need it. What was that, sorry? See, your microphone doesn't seem to work well with the music. There we go.
Yeah.
Can you hear what he's saying, Pam?
No, I can read his lips, but that's it.
Matthews.
Adam Matthews. Well, I can tell you, mate, after all of that, Adam Matthews was not in that matchday squad. He wasn't, mate. So, Pam, similar to the last one, if you get this, you have won. It's a similar trajectory to the last game he's played.
I'm kind of out of people, to be honest. I'm just trying to rake through. Like, I'm literally going through who I had a crush on when I was 12. That's and like who I'm just trying to remember who Lenny celebrated with, and I'm just hoping to God that they played in this game. He got along well with Kyle. Kyle. I'm gonna go for Baron Kyle. Okay.
And you would be correct, Pam. You've won for the second week in a row. You've won again. Baron Kyle was a correct answer. But yeah, Scott Brown not playing is a shock. It is a shock. But yeah, must have been injured or suspended. But the missing answers, frustratingly for you, were Fraser Foster, the goalkeeper, obviously, Emilio Izaguirre, Efe Ambrose, Kelvin Wilson, Charlie Mulgrew, who we were just talking about a moment ago, Mikael Lustig, Anthony Stokes, naughty boy that he is these days, Gary Hooper, Lucas Zaluska, always a safe answer, and a Neil Lennon era team, always a safe answer, sub-goalkeeper, Thomas Rogner, Dylan McGeoch. Here is a really obscure one, Lasad, Tunisian striker that we had for a short time that season. He came off the bench and actually set up Samaras to score the winner with a header. And a Bosnian player that we had, very short-lived, named Atajic, Atajic. For people who played Champ Manager or Football Manager, he was always going to be the next big thing. He was always predicted to be, he'll go and become a fantastic player, but never really amounted to anything for us. But yeah, that was your 18 players that played in that epic game back in 2013. So yeah, hopefully we don't get a similar. I don't think I can handle going through that again because that day was brutal. Even though we won in the end, but when you're 3-1 down to Aberdeen, you don't want to be in that position at any point. So yeah, none of that. Celtic hopefully a nice comfortable victory, and we can cement our place at the top of the league. But yes, that wraps up another sudden death and another Friday feeling. It's good to have the old quiz back. So yeah, we'll be back on next week. In fact, Tuesday. First and foremost, we'll be back on Tuesday night. I'll be on with David and Regan as well, because the Tuesday ticket will be a preview to the Atalanta game, so that's still to come. And of course, tomorrow, look out for PMP. Russell and Terry will be doing that sometime in the evening after the game. So again, hit the subscribe button. You'll know when it goes live. Hit the bell notification. You'll be notified. So remember all that stuff, all the good stuff. So yeah, you do that. So yeah, but just quite before we go then, just a very, very quick thing. Atalanta, how do you think we're going to go in that one? Or you just can't even contemplate that just now, but just because you guys won't be on probably till next Friday anyway, so I'll quickly get your very brief thoughts on Atalanta. Pam?
I hope it's not as much of a shit show.
That's a good way of putting it. I hope
it isn't. I feel like a 3-1 defeat, to be honest.
Yeah, I just hope we've learned something. That's all I'm hoping, that we show that we've actually learned from what happened in Dortmund. And Liam, yourself, how do you feel this is going to go?
You know what? I think we'll come away with a 1-0 win. I think we played Lazio in Rome.
Wow.
I'm thinking it depends how the Aberdeen goes for it. If we build some positivity tomorrow and keep that going, I think we can squeak away with a 1-0 win. I think that would be brilliant. That will turn it around.
Yes, please. I will take that right now. I will happily take that. But yeah, it's going to be a hell of a night. Wednesday night we're playing that. So yeah, so we've got a PMP tomorrow, Tuesday ticket, PMP for the Champions League game as well on Wednesday, then TNF and back to Friday feeling again. So yeah, a busy week coming up on the bus. So yeah, we will head off now, folks. Enjoy the rest of your night, whatever you do. For Pam and for Liam, they've still got most of their day ahead of them, so hopefully they enjoy the rest of their day. And of course, enjoy the game tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be celebrating another Celtic victory. And until then, folks, we shall catch you later. See yous.